Hey guys, this is going to be my Onward 101 video. It's going to be a building block for some of my other videos, like the How to Reload series, where um, pretty much in every video I say press the magazine release button. I don't have to specify what button that is on which controller. If you watch this video, you should know. I'm going to go over some other useful actions that you're going to want to know how to do at the beginning of the game. There are some frequent questions and how-tos. So without further ado, let's get started with the basic task that you're going to do every single game. Pick a team. So we've got Marsoc over here, and we've got Volk over here, and the way that you pick them is you simply reach out with your controller, grab the helmet with the trigger button, and place it on your head. And then you go into the class selection, loadout selection. You can pick everything. If you accidentally pick the wrong one, you don't want to be Volk, or you've got 4 people over here and only one person over there, and you want to balance it out, you can hit this back button. The helmets will come back. Just grab the other side. So let's jump in as a rifleman. It doesn't matter what the loadout is. And we will start the mission, and we will jump in and we will start talking about intro to movement. And this is going to be I've got the locomotion explained video. This is not going to be as in-depth as that. It's just going to be a few seconds to tell you how to move, just to give you the bare bones basics. So with your left-hand controller, place your thumb on the trackpad, and you will start to move. The closer you are to the center of the trackpad, the slower you will move. The farther out you go, the faster you will move. If you click down on the trackpad, you'll move a little bit quicker. If you double-click, you will sprint. So this is just holding down. On the outside of it, this is very, very inside, clicking down, and double clicking. Alright, so that is movement. One other thing to note is that you are not locked to the direction that you're looking. Like, I can hold forward and look all over. It is the direction that my controller is actually pointing that dictates what is forward, or where my torso is facing. So that's a really awesome movement system. I really suggest that after this video you go take a look at my movement explained if you want a more in-depth look at why that is so awesome and what you can do with that. The next thing that we have is crouching and crouching and going prone. Hold on, I've lost track. Okay guys, sorry about that cut. I lost power to one of my controllers. So as I was saying, we're going to talk about crouching and prone. There is no specific button for crouching and prone in Onward. All you do is simply take a knee. You actually get down on the ground. It's that simple. For prone, let's see, you lay down on the ground. So that's it. It's very simple, it's very easy to do, it's very natural and intuitive. Alright, next up is a very important item. It is the radio. When you get, I think the distance is about from here to that first target right there. When you get to a certain distance away, your teammates aren't going to be able to hear you. And when you're talking like this, it's not only your teammates that can hear you, but the enemy can hear you as well. So there's voice chatter. It's very well done in my opinion. But let's say that you split up into 2 teams and you and your buddy are here and you can talk to him like this, but then your team is way down at the other end of the range. How do you can't shout over there. You have a radio over your left-hand shoulder. If you reach up and you pull the trigger, just place the controller on your shoulder, pull the trigger, you'll hear that squelch, and then you can start talking after the squelch sound, and your teammates are going to be able to hear you, and then you release. When radio comms come through, you'll hear that squelch. You'll hear what they're saying, hopefully. There has been a bug in one of the builds where some people cannot hear or cannot speak on the radio, so all you hear is static. It's an early access title. There are some bugs to be worked out. Hopefully, at some point, that will not be relevant to this video. But for now, I believe it still is. The next thing that we're going to go over really quickly is how to pull out your knife. This is the knife is brutal. The knife is a one hit no matter where you hit at the moment. Knife fight tournaments are a thing that people are doing, and they're quite a bit fun. But basically, the same place where your radio was, you're going to reach up there, but instead of using the trigger, you're going to grab with the grip buttons. All right? And you don't have to hold the grip button down. Just click it and it will be locked to your hand. Now, a thing to note is that you can cut yourself with this. And like I mentioned, it's brutal. So one chop to your hand, to your body, to your face, anywhere, one little nick, one little paper cut size cut, and you're dead. When you're just holding it though, it's fine. You actually have to press the trigger like you're shooting a weapon for the knife to cut. So that's a very important thing to remember, is that when you're trying to use your knife, you do have to hold the trigger down if you're intending to kill. Basically, think of it as, you know, a safety feature, so you don't accidentally, you know, cut your arm off as you're, you know, pulling it down like this. That it's not always on, always dangerous. So that's pretty much the knife. You put it back the same way, reach up to your shoulder, not holding the trigger or you'll stab yourself in the neck, and then press the grip button and it will go away. The other item that you have on your body that isn't exactly obvious is your iPad, your PDA, your tablet, whatever whatever your preference of calling it. The way that you grab it is with nothing in your hands. Like, even if, you know, I'm gripping the rifle like this and I let go here and I reach back there, I can't grab it because I've still got something in my hands. You need both hands. So just with one of your hands, reach back behind your head in sort of the base of your neck behind you, and press the menu button, the button right above the trackpad on the Vive controller, and you will pull out your map. So this will show a green dot for all of your friendlies. This is a great way to check if, say, your team doesn't have voice comms or they're not responding to you. You can pull this out and see if they're still alive. If they're dead, you won't see anything. If they are alive, you'll have a tiny little green dot here. This is also required for the objectives. If you are on the attacking side, then you will have a code, and that code is what you need to punch in at the objective. I will probably do another video on that if it seems like there is an objective here. I was not aware of that. So I will get another video out on that, but I'm not going to do that in this one. To put it away, you reach back into the same place and you press the menu button again, that button right over the trackpad. You can also reach up under your back to the small of your back, and it's there as well. I find that one to be easier than reaching over my shoulder like I'm drawing a sword. But either one, whichever one works for you. So let's get into buttons. There is the menu button that I mentioned that grabs the iPad. For grabbing weapons, it is the grip button. So like when you were reaching up here to grab your knife, it was the grip button. To grab your rifle, it's the grip button. For using both hands on your weapon, you press the grip button. And this actually does add a considerable amount of stability and recoil reduction, so you're going to want to use this. To grab your sidearm, it is also the grip button. So pretty much anything weapon focused, you're going to grab it with the grip button. Anything secondary item, you're going to grab with the trigger button. So like this grenade here, I would grab it with the trigger button. To pull this pin, I would grab it with the trigger button. I'll show that later. To place it back on your rack, you press the trigger button again. The syringe, you use the trigger button. To grab a new magazine, it is the trigger button. And this is a great segue into dropping items by letting go of the trigger button. With the magazine, you do have to hold down the trigger button. The next button we're going to talk about is a very important button that you'll be using a lot, is the magazine release button. So I'm going to go ahead and empty this clip here. Okay. Pressing, so let me step back for a second. You can have the game register either your right hand or your left hand as your dominant hand. And I believe if you are left hand dominant, it swaps the position of the rifle and the pistol so that you can hold the pistol with your left hand. And in that case, the button, I think, changes position. I have not tried that yet. But the magazine release is down on your dominant hand. For me, that is the right hand. So pressing down on the trackpad ejects the magazine. And I slide a new one in. Now, for interacting with items on a weapon, such as racking the weapon, you're going to use the trigger on your non-dominant hand. So to slide this home, first, up on the trackpad will slide that home automatically so that you do not have to touch it. And that is true for all of the pistols. But if I wanted to rack this manually, or I wanted to send this home manually, I can grab it with the trigger and pull it back, and it'll eject the mag, and then I can send it home. So when it was back like this, I could have, instead of pressing up on the trackpad, I could have just slid it home like that. Yeah, I'm not sure what else to say about that. You do that with the trigger of your free hand. So next is, we already went over grabbing items. So let's revisit the grenade. Pulling the pin on the grenade works just like grabbing items, and this is true for the flashbangs and for the smoke grenades. All you do is you pull the pin, you click it. Basically, you don't have to manually pull it. Just pull the trigger on the non-dominant hand, and it will come out, and it will be primed. There is no charging the grenade. You can sit here and hold this for as long as you want. So there's no cooking it before you throw it. It's not going to actually start the timer for it exploding until you let it go and it falls to the ground. That, I think, pretty much wraps up all of the 101 intro things that I wanted to go over, all of the most common questions that I see. If this video was helpful for you, if you learned anything or you enjoyed this, please go ahead and like, share, subscribe. Let me know how I'm doing in the comments, and I will see you guys later.